Let's see if you can get these without me helping you. I want you to get it right and sound natural, so not do too much to try and overcompensate.
Makes sense. Vacation, 5, love, knives.
Okay. Vacation.
Vacation.
The ones at the ends, you're doing an F instead of a V. 5. Love. Knives. It's not knives, it's knives. Knives.
Can you do again the V part of the knives?
Knives. Not
As opposed to
knives.
I don't see the difference. Knives.
So, this is a VZ, and it's not an FS, which is what you're doing. Okay? Knives. Not knives.
Yeah, knives.
Which would be knives. To knife someone.
Yeah.
That is the verb, to knife. That will be knives.
Okay.
And it's the noun is knives. Wolves. It's not wolves. It's wolves.
Wolves.
That's it. Saves. Vans. You're saying an S. Vines. The good thing about this exercise is it's got the V and the Z.
Yeah.
And it's written S, which makes you want to say an S. Drives. Caves. Loves. The haves and the have-nots.
The haves and the have-nots.
That's it. TS, it's not a Z there. Visits. Drives. Saves. Yes, so you've got the two S's. The first S is what?
S.
And the second one?
Z,
not Z. Why is it a Z?
Because it ends up in ES.
No. It's because it is a third person singular, but ends in the V sound. So all nouns in the plural, all nouns with the Saxon genitive, that's apostrophe S, S apostrophe, everything that ends in the V sound, when it goes to the S ending, it's a Z. Saves, lives, drives, loves, everything with the V sound, ends in a V, you put an S on it, it goes to a Z. Do you remember when I had the rule about everything that ends in a T? If it has a plural or third person singular, it is what? S or Z?
Z.
S. Visits, shits. It's not shits, it's shits. Fits.
Yeah.
Do you remember we did this?
No.
No?
Well, I do remember, but I don't remember the rules, and I don't aspire to. So it needs to come natural, or it won't come.
Heavies. Okay, I want you to do the next words, but say them in a plural or with an S endings. And I want to clearly hear, is it a Z or is it an S?
Okay. Fives. Favorites.
What am I deleting?
I don't know. Favorites.
We are deleting the E. We're also deleting the OU.
Yeah.
Favorites. Yes. It's crazy. We're deleting 3 vowels. Huh?
Okay.
Next one.
Favors.
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 And in American, how do you spell it?
Without the U.
Correct. Next one.
Flavors.
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 And in American, how do you spell it?
Without the U.
Yeah, exactly. Like Flavor Flav, the singer. Do you remember Public Enemy? No?
No.
Pop group. Rap group.
Okay.
Forgives.
Forgives.
Lifesavers.
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 Lifesavers. Savers.
That's it. Leftovers.
Leftovers.
Forgives.
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 That's it. It's difficult for you, this final. Okay, again, I want you to do this in the plural of all nouns.
His wives.
Wives.
Wives will drive.
Drive.
Yeah.
You said drive. You said drive.
Drive. Drive.
Uh-huh.
The vans. The vans.
That's it. So slow down. Before you start, I want you to see where the V and the F and the S and the Z are. Okay?
Yeah.
Be clear in your mind where they are.
Okay. I have 5 knives and 4 forks.
Yes. How do you pronounce this S?
S.
Why?
I don't know the rule.
Because everything that ends in the K sound is pronounced S.
Okay.
Fucks, licks, dicks, all the bad words, no?
Yeah.
Forks. Next one. Don't start till you know where the things are.
Will you phone before you visit the farms?
That's it. Okay, take the same time to the next one.
My family loves to laugh on vacation.
And if you put the 2 plurals in, even though it should be on vacation, it's not the plural in there.
Yeah. My family loves to
But
laugh.
it would be love.
Love to laugh on vacations.
Vacation.
Vacations. Save the
Save, not safe. Safe is seguro. Save.
Save the 4 wolves.
Wolves.
Wolves that live in the caves.
Yes.
Please forgive me for forgetting the leftover food.
And plural?
Please forgive me for forgetting the leftovers foods. Foods.
Yes.
Leftover foods.
Because everything that ends in D, and it's the plural, will be pronounced
Z.
Z, not
Z.
said.
Z.
Because I said is a dicho, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will save this to a PDF and I will send you this by the WhatsApp afterwards.
Okay.
Do you have any children's books to read your kids' stories?
Yeah.
In English?
Yeah.
Yeah? And do you have time ever to read them stories?
Rarely. But
Do you enjoy reading stories to the kids?
they not yet because they don't really understand them. So no. When they start interacting and they get older and they understand and comprehend the stories, will be more interesting. But now he gets bored too.
Really?
He doesn't get it. I'm reading, but it's just for him to hear noises and.
You got that, Z? You said noises. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
You got it right. So I've got a thing here. I've got something here about S and Z. But the S for you is easy. You have this. This will be?
It's let's, that's,
For you, that's easy. No? And here?
Beds, beats, books, drops, effects.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. This is all the S ones. No? KS, TS. This is for you. This for you is very easy. And when you have the the FS, like knives.
Yeah. Beliefs, briefs, chiefs, dwarfs.
This is easy for you.
Yeah.
And then you have the fourths,
labyrinths, months.
This is easy for you again. So everything that's got the S ending is easy for you.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll go on to so these words can be said both ways. Oaths, truths and wreaths, or oaths, truths and wreaths. That's a bit difficult. So I will accept any pronunciation there. Next ones.
Is it the same in the US, in American? There's S and Z stuff?
Sometimes it changes. In these cases, both are acceptable. Most Americans will use the S one here, and most British people will use the Z one here. But you can't just generalize about is it one country or the other, because it's a bit like Andalusia and Catalonia. It's not quite the same within the same country.
Okay, but for those who, maybe not for these ones, but for
these ones.
These ones.
This one?
These ones.
No, listen. This one.
This one.
This one.
This one.
These ones.
These ones.
Sometimes some Americans will change it. Maybe because they have a Spanish-Mexican influence.
Bahamas. So that's supposed to be a Z.
According to the rule,
yeah.
What sound does Bahama end in?
On a Z.
No. With no S on the end, just the word Bahama,
yeah.
What sound does it end in? Bahama. What do we end in?
A vowel.
A vowel. And what vowel is it?
An A.
A schwa. Like teacher, doctor, Edward, Deutsche. No? Bahamas. Okay, so it ends in a vowel sound. Yeah. Everything that ends in a vowel sound, according to the standard rule of general English pronunciation, when it goes to the plural, it is pronounced
Z.
Yes.
Now the question is, if I listen to Barack Obama, will he ever say Bahamas?
I would have to listen to a particular speaker and see if they make any changes.
So it's not as perceived as much as an error as it is for other pronunciations, this S and Z thing at the end of the word. Is it? I'm just questioning the...
There are various changes in various different people in America.
Yeah.
But not just for the pronunciation. Also, certain American people will do certain things which would normally be considered to be incorrect English. For example, I played good.
Yeah, no, but that's grammar.
Some Americans who are supposed to be intelligent will say that. Whereas normally in England, only a very uneducated person would say that. So David Beckham will say, I played good, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's grammar, I think.
That's grammar, and that's bad grammar.
Yeah.
And I will say, didn't I? But if you spoke to David Beckham, who has a sort of semi-Cockney, semi-London accent, he'll say, didn't I?
Yeah.
So didn't I? So he will delete the D, he'll delete the T, and he'll say, didn't I?
Yeah.
Then what am I supposed to teach you? Teach you how to
speak
like David Beckham?
No, but I'm questioning if the S and the Z at the end of the word
It's clearer, usually it's clearer in people who speak standard English. Certain people in certain other regional dialects of other countries, certain of those, maybe in the United States, may not do the full S and Z in all positions. Yeah. But we would have to examine which particular speaker, where they may be making a mistake, supposedly a mistake, and what they do. Usually, the more educated the person, the more correct the pronunciation. Yeah. The more regional and the more working class the accent, the less they will abide by normal rules. Certain of your S and Z things, you may find that certain Americans don't do it fully in all positions. We would have to look at a particular speaker and analyze what they were saying. But I think that your problem is not that you have certain Americanisms. I think it's because you're Spanish. So
no, of course, I'm not identifying the source of the problem. I'm trying to evaluate whether it is, within the grand scheme of things, something worth really, because for me it's very difficult. Okay, to the sets at the end, it's so.
Yes.
The V and the B, obviously that's a clear Spanish mistake. The B and the V. Okay, yes. Because it sounds the same in Spanish. So I understand that one. And that one is a mistake, however you look at it. And I'm not saying this is not a mistake, but that one is a mistake, and you clearly can see whether it is an American or a British. They say V as V and B as B, no? In the S is where, for me, it's very difficult. And I was just wondering if it is as much as a perceived mistake as it is for the V's and the B's.
There will be... You don't do the V and the B mistake. You do the V and the F mistake.
Or that one, for example.
There will be people who speak a native English who do not correctly differentiate between the F and the V. I would have to think about who it was who didn't do it. Yeah. But I'm thinking, do you know who Conor McGregor is?
Yes.
And I am thinking that certain working class cage fighting people from certain parts of rural Ireland may not make the F and V distinction. So Conor McGregor might say, he knifes him, doesn't he? Yeah. He knifes him.
No, but I'm not questioning that one. I'm just going back, trying to put it in the context of the S and the Z. So clearly, the S and the Z's seem to be... Z's.
Or in American, Z's.
Z's seem to be a more common and less outstanding mistake than the V's and the F's.
If there is any speaker and who is not clearly defining between the S and the Z, it will normally be done at the ends of the words. But you don't just do it at the ends of the words. You also do it at the beginning and the middle. And Americans, you just said a word to me which had an S and Z mistake.
Like which one?
Z and said. And that will not be made by Americans. And you also do it at the beginnings of the words and in the middles of the words.
Give me an example, please. So
said,
picture it.
Said, dicho, and Z, 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 Z.
Z. Yeah, I agree. See?
And you make that mistake.
Yeah.
And I'm not aware of anybody who does that mistake as a native speaker.
Yeah, so that one is, I think, but that one is easier for me to correct than the S and Z at the ending. So I just wanted to understand the...
Yes. The S and Z at the endings, there will be certain speakers who don't get it conventionally right. But you also have the problem at the beginning and the middle of the words.
Okay.
Because you have it everywhere. And even if in certain words, certain people don't get it right at the end, does. Does.
Has. Is. Says. Was.
You know, the difference between Jennifer Lopez, and as big as a house. As big as a house. I think you're really going into Latino, Los Angeles, gangster, Chicano there, if you're getting that sort of S and Z confusion. I really think that, but you have to think that language is a developing thing, and that certain cities are in some way dominated by Latino culture.
Yeah.
Not just because they have a huge population of Mexicans and other South American people, but because they have certain culture. So if the people are into working class rap culture or whatever, they may want to speak like the South Americans, even though they're white. This also happens in certain parts of the UK. So in London, you have a lot of people from Jamaica. Yeah. And some of the white kids want to be cool and start to speak a little bit like the Jamaicans. It also happens in certain parts of Paris or Marseille, where you get a lot of Arabs and blacks from Africa. And some of the white people start to sound like they have a bit like an accent, mixing it with the blacks and the Arabs, which is crazy. But this stuff happens.
Yeah.
But the standard English for somebody who works in Deutsche Bank or Clifford Chance would not be that.
Okay.
We will do a bit more of S and Z, and then we'll do the F and V, which we will find easy. You ask me a question, and it's difficult for me to give you a completely clear answer, because with language, nothing is ever totally clear.
No, I know. I just wanted to understand how bad of a mistake the S and the Z at the end of the word is, as compared to other mistakes like the French not pronouncing the H.
I have a house.
I have a house.
Okay, well, we also need to think where you're doing it and what the possible confusion is. So for you it's difficult, but if you think that sometimes we can't tell the difference between what you're saying, between said and Z, and we have to sort of guess from the context.
Yeah.
So this means that we have to make an additional effort to be able to understand what you're saying, and the people who are listening to you are not
paying as much attention to the content if
they're not as informed as to the details of language and accent as I am. Yeah. So they will just simply say, I didn't really understand what they said, or they just start to not listen because it's too much effort, or they start to think, oh, they're just Spanish, because one of the problems for people who are or Europeans who go to England or the US is that the people in England are quite racist, and they think that if anybody doesn't speak like they do, they're like stupid. Where they don't actually speak any foreign languages at all. But if you don't speak perfectly, they just somehow think you're not as good as them, and that it's some sort of dodgy Southern European pig country or whatever. And they just don't like it. So sometimes when you work in a company like Accenture or Deutsche Bank and you are French or Spanish or something, I think that sometimes you have to prove yourself more than the English person.
Yeah, we discussed it.
Yeah, so I think that all of the things that you can do to make it not an issue for you, so that they have full confidence in you and full confidence in the Spanish branch of the company, will be helpful.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
I get the point.